Yo, what's going on, man? Today is April the 21st, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. I know I'm a couple minutes late, a little bit later than I typically am, and it's just because I was having some technical difficulties on my end. The platform that I used to stream had a big lag in it. I didn't want to start the show that way, so a couple minutes late, and we are into the second official day of the NBA playoffs. Yesterday was not kind to me, man. Started off well. That's a great way to kind of just segue into it. Recap yesterday, we took Orlando, Cleveland under the 207.5. It was a nice start to the day. And then Phoenix fell for that train again. Plus 1.5. They get smoked by the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Knicks do cover. I don't think I gave that out on the show, but I did add the Knicks minus the 3. The Knicks Philly goes over. Josh Hart starts to hit every three-pointer that he could shoot in the fourth quarter. And then the Lakers, what a sad story, the Los Angeles Lakers. So yesterday was 2-3, minus a unit and a half, pretty much, minus 1.52 units. And the postseason has not been kind, man. You guys see 2-5 there. And that's yesterday in the play-in. So I'm down 4.5 units on the postseason. So it's been a terrible start to the postseason, but we got plenty of time to turn it around. Definitely trying to do a little bit better today, be a little bit more selective, and maybe sit some of these games out that, don't have too strong of a feel on. But I love the plays that I gave out yesterday. Lakers the Lakers could have made it a profitable night and fall flat on their face in the third quarter. I think they got outscored like 30-15. Same old story, a little bit deja vu there. Josh Hart, like I said, he killed the under in the Knicks in the Philly game. And then Phoenix just never really showed up. And in the first quarter, they did. Anthony Edwards happened in the third quarter, though. So try to do a little bit better today, man. First game up, we got shout out to everybody in the comments. I saw people already dropping plays that they like. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's jump into it for today, though. We got the Miami Heat. They will be in Boston. First game up. They are getting 14.5 points. I think this line opened at 13.5, something like that. And money still coming in on Boston to blow the Miami Heat, blow them out of the water today, win this game by 2 touchdowns. So difficult. I mean, anytime you're laying this many boatload of points, it's always a pretty difficult game to kind of handicap. I'm interested to know what you guys think about the game. So let me know what you guys are thinking. But I looked into a couple of different things. First of all, we know that the Celtics have been the best team at home. At home over the course of the whole season. Like, this team is really been clicking on all cylinders, and I do think that they are going to be motivated in this spot. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think about these two teams is I think about the way that the Celtics lost last season. Remember, they played against this Miami Heat team. That's how they got eliminated. They went down 3-0, came back, tied the series 3-3, and for that reason specifically, then Tatum rolled his ankle in Game 7 that people remember at the beginning. I think it was in the first quarter. And then Boston never really had a chance in that game. Of course, Miami had Jimmy Butler, and if they won't in this game. So it's a couple of different ways you can play this game, in my opinion. First off, I always forget to do this. Let me put my little background music on in the back. So all right, so a couple things I want to mention. So first off, looking at a couple trends that I think are absolutely in play here. So first off, you get a 1 seed that's laying double digits with the rest advantage. We got to remember Miami do not have any kind of rest advantage, any kind of rest in this game, coming off 1 day's rest, of course, after they beat the Chicago Bulls. So you get a 1 seed laying double digits with a major rest advantage. In Game 1, those teams are actually 9-4 against the spread. With an average margin being about 14 points, which is where you see the spread at. They've also heavily trended towards the under, 9-4 to the under. 4 of the last 5 times, the number 8 seed actually failed to score 100 points. So you ask yourself, do you think Boston's going to be the defensive team that they have the capability of being? I think so. On the season, Boston finished the number 3 rated defense, only allowing about 112 points per 100 possessions. But Miami's team total was like 97.5 today. Like, they're not expected to score a lot of points. And I think Boston team total is like 110.5. So does Boston need to score that many points, or do they come out here and just smother this Miami Heat team that are going to be without Jimmy Butler? Other thing I looked at, home favorites in series game number 1 with at least five more days of rest than their opponent. 16-6 against the spread. That's 72.9% says that you just lay it with Boston and this game's going to be a blowout. Now, the reason why that's so difficult to trust, and also I want to say this too, just while we're talking about reasons to back the Celtics. Boston did finish 9-5-1 against the spread as a home favorite when they were laying 12 points or more this season. So they have covered these big numbers as well. And they finished the regular season 3-0 against the Miami Heat, but they did just go 1-2 against the spread. So the X's and O's, when I was looking into this game, the Celtics, they finished the number 1 rated offense and the number 3 rated defense. The numbers did kind of slide towards the last few weeks of the season, but that was primarily, in my opinion, because they were playing meaningless basketball. Now you got the team that actually eliminated you last year, and they're walking that hobble. You got a major rest advantage. You got them without their best player, and I think it's got to be Boston. I don't know if I'm gonna lay the big number though. I didn't play the game. If you get into the X's and O's, they've been one of the better 3-point shooting teams the Boston Celtics have been. One of the better 3-point shooting teams we've actually ever seen in NBA history. But the Miami Heat, all of a sudden, their 3-point defense has been really, really good. They finished the season. Let me just pull it up real quick. Miami finished the season. The number, I wrote it down too. They finished the number 3 rated defense against the 3-point line over the last 2 weeks. So for whatever reason, that of course we know Boston like to shoot a ton of threes there. Boston's three-point shot typically comes from above the break, but it's corner threes, it's all of it. And they ranked number 1 and number 2 throughout the season, throughout the last 2 weeks after the All-Star break. No matter how you break it down, Boston likes to shoot that shot. So to me, I think that kind of leans a little bit more towards the under. You got a Miami team that relies heavily on the free throw line to be able to score the basketball. They finished the season number 4 in free throw rate, and a lot of that was Jimmy Butler, which they won't have in this game. But Boston defensively, they fouled less than any other team. Boston relied heavily on the 3-point shot. I kind of talked about that already, but here's the numbers. On the season and over the last 2 weeks of the regular season, they finished number 1 in corner 3 frequency, above the break 3 frequency, and overall threes just launched in general. And Miami's defense, like I said, they'd actually been the best over the last 2 weeks. So Miami, I think Boston comes in here, they smother Miami. I think Miami has and Spoelstra has a defense that's maybe able to slow this Boston Celtics team down. But regardless, I think Miami struggles to score. I think Boston's going to be super locked into this game. And if I didn't play the game, but if I had to play it, I do think Boston first quarter, first half. That's been something that's been super successful throughout the season. I think you just keep riding that, man. They've been the best first half team in the league this season. They finished 56-25 against the spread, did the Boston Celtics in the first half. At home, 26-14-1 against the spread. They were a plus 15.7 in net rating in the first half throughout the regular season. I know, it's really difficult. One of the things that I looked into, if you've watched basketball for a while, you know that you don't necessarily just want to fade Spoelstra teams on the road as road dogs. Last season, the Miami Heat, I think they were 9-4 against the spread and 7-6 straight up when they were road dogs in the playoffs. So this is the Miami Heat's role, and this is why you see the spread so big. I just think that Boston is the much superior team, and I think they probably got the Miami Heat circled on this one. I would lean a little bit more towards the under than the over in this game, but Boston, just their ability to be able to shoot the 3-point ball is something that really scares me off of the total, man. They can really fill it up, and I think the question that you ask yourself is Miami going to be able to score? Miami also relies heavily on 3-point shots, especially without Jimmy Butler out there. Last 2 weeks, they finished 5th in corner 3 frequency, 8th in corner 3 accuracy. And Boston, they been kind of middle of the pack. They kind of limited that shot, but when teams do shoot it, they are shooting at about 39% over the last 2 weeks. On the full season, Boston has done a really good job there. They've actually finished the second best 3-point defense from that corner 3. And Miami doesn't really shoot a lot of above the break threes. Like, a lot of their threes come from the corner. A lot of, get inside the paint and then kick it to their 3-point shooter. So I'm interested to see what you guys thought. I'm going to go through the comments real quick and see what you guys are thinking about this one. Let me go back up to the top real quick. On the glove. Oh man, hold on. That's a lot of comments. Waiting, Mavs, OKC. What up, Justin? Appreciate you for tapping in. Justin says he's like the Bucks, got him in his pocket. What up, Brian? He says, let's get it today. Same old Phoenix, man. Same old Lakers. Yeah, so disappointing yesterday. Nando says -9 for the Lakers. They get out coach D-Lo, not playoff material. I see a sweep coming. Playoff P gets activated today versus Luka. Are the Lakers ever gonna beat the Nuggets? Maybe when Jokic retires. The Lakers getting slandered. What else we got here? Lakers need to put together a complete game. As a Hawks fan, I know the frustration. Lakers fans got to be really ready for violence right now. It's bad, man. What up, PZ? Appreciate you for tapping in. Lot of talk about the Lakers game. Let's see. Zoe says Celtics -14 is so damn many points. And I agree, man. It's a big number. BJ likes the Clippers on the money line. Let's see. We're on an island with the Clippers. Justin says all the home teams been cashing so far. Jay Fuller says Kawhi's knee is as big as a pineapple. I didn't even see it. I don't know if a picture came out yesterday. He says all the favorites won yesterday. Not happening today. Public heavy on the Mavs, but forgot the Clippers have 4 Hall of Fame players on their team. Way too much for the Mavs munching. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll get into that game in a second. What are y'all saying about this game specifically? Props I'm on for Boston and Miami. Derek got a couple props. What do you like? What you liking, Derek? He says, Richard says Celtics first half, OKC Pacers money line +133. I don't know if that's a parlay or not. Derek says took Derek White over his 12.5 points, Bam over 17.5 points, and Kevin Love over his 6.5 points, Tatum over 25.5 points as well. So he likes points in this game. Derek says Hero, he's taking his assists, likes him at over 5.5. He says 18 assists, 9 versus Philly, 9 versus Chicago. Last 2 games without Butler, he's averaging 5.3 assists in 3 games versus Boston this season, and led the team in assists in 2 of the 3 games versus Boston with 28.8% usage rate without Butler. This makes a ton of sense here. As long as you think those guys are gonna be able to knock down shots, and they should be able to create some kind of shots, you would think. Meek likes the Clippers on the money line. Marcus says everything just different out here in New England. Boston guy. Nando says Celtics team total over. I think Spoelstra might have to. I don't even know if they're gonna need to be able to score the basketball, man. I really don't. I don't know if they're gonna need to score 120. Now, granted, when the Celtics are double-digit favorites, they typically go over their team total. But do they blow the doors off the Miami Heat? I think I'm leaning more towards an under game. The numbers kind of point towards an under game, especially when you think about how well Miami's been defending the 3-point line versus Boston. Frankie says, I like Al Horford to get those 2 threes because that guy's pretty consistent. I know you probably won't put money on one player to get 3 threes, but Al Horford points at 5.5 at some places if you can get it. Jay Fuller says the total seems low. Meek likes the over. Jay Fuller says Celtics can easily score 120. Corey says Boston 20. Easy, Chris. Okay. Luke Cornett is out, so more time for Al Horford. Okay. Clippers Island is my neighborhood, JPZ says. So we're going to get into that game in a second. I think that's the next game. What up, AOD? Appreciate you for tapping in. Steven says Suns was for squares. Come on, Chris. But New York was a bad beat. We got New York right. He says game should have went under. It definitely should have went under. Suns 3-0 against them on the regular season. Maybe it was. I don't think it was for squares though. I can't get the Suns right. So whenever I think about betting them, I should probably go the other way. Devin Booker looked like a shell of himself today. Top play of the game. Meek says, I believe Boston could cover the spread. I do too. I think that they can. Jamie says Celtics first half -8.5. If I had the one play in the game, this is what it would be. It would be Celtics first half. I gave you guys the numbers in that one. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it quite yet. Celtics first quarter looks realistic. -4.5, -5, Jay Fuller says. First quarter, first half would be the play. Frankie says, Chris, what do the trends say about a playoff team that is favored by favored by that much for their first game of the playoffs. So I looked into this, and it said that the games typically go under, and I kind of gave you guys those numbers already. Let's see. So, let's see. So series game equals 1, and seed equals 1, and so if we're looking at the first game of a series, and it's the number 1 seed, and they're laying at least, I just put 13 points or more, those teams are 6-0 straight up, 4-2 against the spread, 5-1 to the under. And that's what I was saying, like more towards a Heat team total under. I told you guys, I don't know if the Celtics need to score that many points. It's only happened where a number 1 seed in the first round, well, I'm sorry, this isn't even the first round. This is just a number 1 seed in series game number 1. So first game of the series, and they're laying 13 points or more. Those teams are 5-1 to the under. That's the strongest trend of the 6 occurrences that has happened. But it hasn't happened since the Bucks played the Pistons back in 2019. They were laying 13 points, and they blew the Pistons out 121-86. That game still went under. So yeah, there you go. Boxing First Blog says parlay the Celtics is the only play he got. Brian says can only look Boston, but there's a little voice saying Miami plus 700 on the money line. I don't know about that. PZ says Terry Rozier coming back today. I'm leaning his points over. Is Terry Rozier coming back today? Terry Rozier is, I see him listed as out. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back today, PZ. I don't think Rozier is going to be in there. Duncan Robinson's a game time decision, but Terry Rozier, he's considered questionable. Terry Rozier and Jimmy Butler are listed out with Luke Cornett in this one. On the Glow says, do you have any trends on totals for this one? Just talked about this, Glow. All of the trends lean towards the under. It seems like a lot of these games have gone under due to the refs letting guys play, and that's a fact. A lot of games going under because they're not calling as many fouls. OG says Boston gonna score 115-120. Richard says Celtics first half, Pacers money line. I think I might have read that. Young OG says I think the first half goes over. Yeah, he says hit the like button, fam. Appreciate that as well. What else should I say? Jamie says, good morning, happy fam. Happy Sunday to you and yours. I like this game for player props because Miami will fight to the end. I agree with that as well. BJ says Mavs lose today. Tone says Celtics minus 14. Makes no sense to be honest, which is why I'll trust the books. Also, maybe a Heat team total under, and I agree there. Mark, this was the top look that I talked about. Celtics first half minus the 8.5 is the play that I like the most. Remember, I said they are plus 15.7 in net rating in the first half. Best first half ATS record by far. What else y'all saying? Justin likes the Celtics over 112.5. He says that's in his pocket. And Douglas says Celtics to win all 4 quarters. I don't know if Boston not gonna let up at all, but Boston to win all 4 quarters is plus 500. Okay. SK says just looking back at the year, at last year's series, Celtics only over 111.5 team total in one of the 4 home games, but they didn't have Porzingis. SK, they also didn't have Drew Holiday, and a lot of the way Boston scores is through some of their defense too. Like they like to get out in transition, off of steals, off of the turnovers. All right, let's keep going. Let's go into another game. What up, Prolific? Appreciate you for tapping in. Celtics money line and over 208. Big MF Rich says. All right, let's get to another game. We got a few more games to get to. Let's go to so I didn't bet this game, just full transparency. I did bet this game though. And I see a lot of people in the comment section on the opposite side, which is totally fine, man. You got to bet what you absolutely love. Got to bet what you love. The Dallas Mavericks are facing the Clippers today, and this line opened with the Clippers laying 2.5 points, and it's come down. It's flipped all the way to now the Mavs laying 2.5 points. The totals come down. I think it opened at 228.5. It's down to 223. This is another game that I do think goes under. I definitely think this game goes under. So let's talk about injuries first and foremost. You got Tim Hardaway Jr. I think He's listed as questionable. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. If he doesn't play, I mean, that's even more reason to look towards an under. He was dealing with I think it was an illness is what I saw yesterday when I was looking at. Yeah, it's an illness. So he's dealing with an illness on the Mavs side. And then you got Kawhi Leonard, who still hasn't officially been ruled out, but he is listed as doubtful in this game. Kawhi Leonard hasn't played basketball, I think, I read it earlier. I can't remember exactly when it was, but either way, I don't think Kawhi Leonard is going to play in this game. It's been a while since Kawhi Leonard's played basketball, and as of yesterday, he hadn't even been through any contact. So this line moving in his favor. I'm not looking towards taking the Clippers. I'm on the opposite side of everybody in the chat. I took the Dallas Mavericks on the money line here, understanding that, you could say it's square, but you go through and kind of look at the numbers and what Dallas has been able to do. First of all, we got to start with Luka just absolutely hating this team. Like Luka, he's been a Clipper killer for a very, very long time. And the Clippers did beat them head to head. They beat them 2-1 in the regular season. So you can say it's kind of square, but a couple of things I really, really looked at was how the teams kind of finished throughout the regular season. The Mavs finished 18-9 against the spread since the All-Star break. They were 16-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 20 games. This was the hottest team. Them and the Philadelphia 76ers were the hottest team to finish the season. And I said 16-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 20, or you could just say 16-2 straight up and against the spread in their last 18, because those last two games didn't really count. Remember, they lost to finish the season. They lost to Detroit and OKC because seeding was already kind of locked up. Now, on the opposite side, you get a Clippers team. They finished 15-14 after the All-Star break, just 9-20 against the spread. This was not a team that was covering. Even worse, they struggled significantly at the crib. They finished 5-10 straight up, and against 5-10 straight up after the All-Star break, and just 4-11 against the spread after the All-Star break in home games. Another thing, without Kawhi, it does look easier to take the Dallas Mavericks. But without him, you go through and look at the numbers, and this team is significantly different. Kawhi means a lot to this team, in my opinion. As a dog without Kawhi, the Clippers finished 2-6 straight up, and against the spread, they lost by an average of 9 points. So I went through and did some deep digging into that, and I always talk about cleaning the glass as being one of the references that I use, one of the handicapping tools that I use. Cleaning the glass said that without Kawhi, the Clippers were outscored by almost 2 points per 100 possessions without him on the floor. It's a 1.9. But here's the difficult part, and the reason why I couldn't take the Clippers. Their defensive rating actually jumps up to a 119.3. So they're giving up almost 120 points per 100 possessions without Kawhi Leonard on the floor. With Kawhi on the floor, they were a plus 8.2. So I mean, that's a ton of points. I mean, that's a ton of points that you're able to score. Of course, he makes the offense better, but he also makes the defense a lot better. They gave up 7 fewer points without Kawhi, with Kawhi on the floor. So I told you guys 119.3 points per 100 possessions with Kawhi on the floor. Without him on the floor, without Kawhi, without Kawhi, they gave up 119.3. With Kawhi on the floor, their defensive rating jumped down to like a -1 to a 112. So a much better defensively. The other thing I think you got to take into consideration is the trade for the Dallas Mavericks, right? You get PJ Washington, you get Daniel Gafford. Derek Lively also not on the injury report. He's going to come back in this game. So Dallas with PJ Washington, Luka, Kyrie, Daniel Gafford, this team finished almost 5 points better than were outscoring their opponents by about 5 points per 100 possessions. They allowed just 106.5 points per 100 possessions across about, it was a little less than 600 possessions over the season that they've actually been able to play. Yeah, all of those things kind of, and I'm taking the better team. I think if Dallas is really going to win this series, which I kind of feel like they are, I'm cool with them coming in here and stealing game 1. So I like the Mavs. I played them on the money line though. I did not lay the 2.5 because I got to the number late, but I gave this out yesterday. I don't even know what the best number is right now. I can look it up for you guys, but when I played it yesterday, it was -142. So I did lay the juice here, but I do think Dallas steals game 1. Right now, you can get Dallas at -143 if you got Unibet. Everybody else has it like -150. DraftKings got a -148. Bet Rivers got a -143. I don't at all think it's going to be an easy game. If I thought it was going to be an easy game, I'd lay the points with the Dallas Mavericks. I think the Clippers going to fight, but I don't think they have enough defensively. They really struggled against teams that can shoot the 3-point shot, and Dallas can light you up from there. So, and I think Dallas got enough I think they got enough defenders with guys like Derrick Jones Jr. to be able to slow down PG. And James Harden can be a shell of himself in the playoffs. We saw that last year in Philly. So Dallas, I took Dallas on the money line. Let's go, Kyrie. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Let's see. What are you guys thinking about this one? I know it's gonna be some people on the other side. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Yeah, Justin said he got Clippers +3 in his pocket. Negro Diamond says he likes Harden and Luka over 20 assists combined at +120. Jamie says Gafford over 6.5 rebounds at plus money. This is a pretty good look. I think Gafford gets 7 rebounds in this game as well. I also considered the Clippers team total under 110.5. I think that's a nice alternative way to play this game. Remember, Dallas defense really ramped up at the end of the season. They played really, really good basketball. I like this. I'm going to write this down. Gafford over 6.5 rebounds, especially if it's at plus money. I think he plays enough minutes. I think the only thing that would scare me is if Derek Lively, I would need to go through and kind of analyze the minutes that they've been playing. But I know Lively has he didn't finish the regular season. I think he missed like the last 5 or 6 games, maybe even a little bit more. What up, John? Appreciate you for tapping in. Marcus likes the Mavs. Amy says Zubac under 11.5 points since Gafford entered the starting lineup. Opposing centers have been held under their points total 18 straight times. Damn. Okay, that's a nice look. So that defense for the Dallas Mavericks being doing their job early. Let's see. Real quick, let's look at that real quick. Let's look at the Clippers offense versus the Dallas Mavericks defense recently, which is going to look different, right? Because you don't have Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard hasn't played in a while, but let's see how good Dallas's defense has been at the rim. So last 2 weeks, Dallas has been the second best defense in opponent rim accuracy, allowing teams to shoot just 62% at the rim. And they've held teams to the 8th fewest rim opportunities. So teams aren't necessarily shooting the ball at the rim against the Dallas Mavericks. And some of these numbers are going to be inflated because of how bad they lost against the Oklahoma City Thunder when they, didn't play anybody. I think the Detroit Pistons game inflates these numbers as well. But Dallas has been really, really good defensively. I like them here. Jay Fuller says Mavs on another gear since they got Gafford in Washington in the trade, giving them a big man presence. Washington's going to make them go deep into the playoffs if he can show up. And I agree. I think that's a good one as well. Tomorrow says, I don't give how being square sharp. I take the play that makes me the money. Mavs, he likes them. And I agree, Tomorrow. I talk about this all the time. That sharp and square stuff gets thrown out the window. Sharp money was on the Lakers yesterday. My money was on the Lakers, and that did not cash. Derek says, let's ride, Chris. Mavs money line. He got him at -140. He says he liked the Clippers team total at under 109.5 as well. They're only averaging 106.75 points in their last 4, and they're 0-4. Dallas, top 10 defensive rated team post All-Star break. Clippers, 22nd offensive rated team. No Kawhi Leonard, hurts massively. Average 106, 116 with Kawhi, and 112 without Kawhi. Makes a ton of sense to me, Derek. I talked about it, right? I talked about it as well. And I think it's a 110.5 out there on ESPN Bet is where I think I saw that. I like this look a lot, Derek. Mark says Mavs super hot going into the playoffs and they're rested, right? We got to remember Kyrie and Luka didn't even play the last 2 games. So I expect to see a very, very fresh Dallas Mavericks team here, which is why I like them a lot. Tay says Mavs as road favorites has paid the bill since the All-Star break. I didn't even write this trend down, but I told you guys at the end of the season that the Lakers and the Mavericks were the best teams in the NBA after the All-Star break on the road. And let's just confirm that real quick. Mavs finished 10-6, straight 10-6 straight up, 11-5 against the spread after the All-Star break as a road on the road as a road favorite. 9-2 straight up, 8-3 against the spread. Yeah, this team is absolutely on fire right now, Tay. Hopefully they keep it going here. Westbrook over his points, rebounds, and assists, SK says 17.5 or 18.5 if it's moved. Ryan saying is Kawhi playing. He's listed as doubtful. I don't think he's going to play here, Ryan. And I like this look by SK. I think Westbrook's going to have a big game for sure. What else you guys saying here? Queen says, I spent $100 on your Lakers versus Nuggets game. You were capping. Yeah, $100, man. Oof. Let's just say I spent a little more on the Lakers losing last night, but it's all good, man. We get it back. Tamari says, Harden and PG always choke in the playoffs. I got the Mavs. Okay. And what else? Trying to move through the comments pretty quickly. Malik says, just ready for Harden to be his regular playoff self and choke. We'll see how it goes. Tasha says she's on the Mavs as well. I'm glad you cashed the first half, Tasha. Man, the Lakers really, man. What else? Let's see. Got the Mavs +2 when the line dropped. Favorite bet today. You got a really good line. EQ likes the Mavs. He's laying at 2.5 with them. And Kawhi is listed as questionable. Listed as doubtful, Jay. He is listed as doubtful. All right, let's see. Mike Drop says, for live bettors, FanDuel got a 30% profit boost on any live games today. And that's really, really cool. I do like betting these games live as well. I did not bet the Mavs to win this series, Jerry. I just felt like I lost too much value. I know that the line just kept coming down. I don't even know. We don't know how long it's going to be before Kawhi returns. We don't even know if he's going to play in the second game. So if you're telling me that, it's like that specific, and I do think the Clippers are playing better basketball, but Kawhi, I respect Kawhi a lot. Like, Kawhi is a top 5 player in the NBA, especially in the playoffs. And that's the reason why I didn't take it. I don't know where he finishes, but Luka and Kyrie on a different level right now, man. Like, if Kawhi plays, that would be enough to kind of give me some pushback off taking it. I feel like it's a toss-up type series. But I would without him, I definitely like the Dallas Mavericks to win the series. I just didn't play it. Let's see let's keep moving. Let's go to another game. We've been on this game long enough. The next game we got the Pacers and the Bucks. I think people are going to be split on this one as well. We got the Pacers. They're now laying 1.5 as road favorites against the Milwaukee Bucks. So this is 3 seed versus 6 seed here. And it's going to be an interesting series, man. So Giannis is also not really, had any contact for people who haven't been paying attention. He hasn't really had any contact. And he's listed as doubtful as well. Like, I really don't expect him to play in this game. And I think that the Bucks understand that. Like, I think, that means a lot for somebody like Bobby Portis. It's difficult to not tell you guys to take his props. I didn't play any, but I can see Bobby Portis having a big game in this spot. And will Giannis return? Maybe, maybe not. Like, everything is considered day to day. But I'll tell you guys how I kind of feel about the series. And initially, I really wanted to jump on the Pacers here. Or not even the series, but just game one. I guess game one in the series. First and foremost, I don't trust Doc. I'll take Rick Carlisle over Doc any day of the week. And especially if Doc doesn't have one of his best player. I think that's just an excuse, for the Bucks to lose and him not to get as much blame. I also think that even if Giannis does return, he's not going. Whenever he returns, I don't think he's going to be 100% unless the Bucks can, buy him some time and win game one at the crib without him. We kind of see it, pretty frequently where these teams kind of make these big drastic moves and they don't win in the first year, right? So I don't think that the Bucks are going to win the championship by any means. And could they lose in the first round? They really, really could. So one of the things that really jumped off the page to me in this game was, I don't know, based on the database that I use, looking at Killer Sports, this is the first time that a 6 seed has ever been the favorite in game one And I think that's a testament to how close the Eastern Conference was. Remember, these teams were jockeying for position. We didn't know if the Bucks were going to finish second, if they were even going to have home court advantage. And the Pacers, they were, like in the 7th spot, it could potentially fall into the play-in. And then they ended up, winning their last few games. That win against Atlanta was a big game to keep them out the play-in. So this is the first time that a 6 seed has actually been a favorite in game 1 against a number 3 seed. To me, that speaks a lot of volumes. So looking at the game specifically with Giannis and without Giannis, the Bucks finished 4-5 straight up, 5-4 against the spread with Giannis out, but they were 3-1 in home games, both straight up and against the spread without Giannis. So the Bucks, we always talk about them. I talked about them losing to Orlando in that, in the season finale. The Bucks play a lot better at home than they do on the road. That was the first thing that kind of gave me some hesitation to back the Pacers. The Pacers have dominated this matchup though throughout the regular season. They played the Bucks 5 times, went 4-1 straight up and against the spread, and during the regular season. And in those 5 games, Indy shot 48% from the field. They held the Milwaukee Bucks to just 31.7% from the 3-point line, which is where we know the Bucks, they want to shoot a bunch of threes. And the Pacers, I think they were, I didn't write the number down, but I know they were a top 5 3-point defense. To me, that gives me a lot of hesitation with wanting to take the Milwaukee Bucks here. The Pacers' number 1 strength defensively is what the Bucks like to do the most. The Bucks also finished just 3-7, straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games, while the Indiana Pacers come in a lot hotter. They finished 7-3 straight up, 6-4 against the spread. So this was a very, very difficult cap for me. I stayed off the game because I could kind of see it going both ways. I can't get over the thought process though of the in season, that like when these two teams played during the regular season. If you guys remember those games, it was so much of Tyrese Halliburton having to pick and roll with Miles Turner and getting Brook Lopez in that pick and roll. And man, you talking about barbecue chicken, right? People were seeing that the Bucks were so unathletic and just they didn't match up well with this Pacers team. And I do think that's the thing. I don't think that they match up with the Pacers team. And if you don't have Giannis, you're going to be relying on Brook Lopez, because the Pacers finished the number 1 offensive team in the NBA. This was the best team at scoring the basketball. Can they come into Milwaukee and outscore this Bucks team? I think that they can. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if the Pacers won this game. The Pacers not the greatest defensive team. And this could be, start of a series where Damian Lillard really gets to go into his bag and prove, all the naysayers wrong, because he's really, really struggled in the playoffs throughout his career specifically. So this is, man, it's a really, really difficult game. I didn't play this one. I just wanted to come on here and share notes with you guys about this one, because I really could see it going either way. I stayed on the sideline for this one. Let me see what you guys are saying about this one. Let's see. Prop says, props for Milwaukee. Derek says he got props for Milwaukee and Indiana. Amy says he grabbed the Pacers when it opened at +5. Shout out to you. I think that's a really good number. Justin likes the Bucks +100 on the money line, and he likes the Bucks to win the series at +105, both in his pocket. Don't know if I agree there, but you got some plus money, so I guess I couldn't talk you off. I think the Pacers could win this series, though. Wouldn't surprise me if either team won the series, honestly. Pacers are, of course, the more inexperienced team, but when you add a guy like Pascal Siakam, who is an NBA champion, they got TJ McConnell off the bench, Aaron Nesmith, like they got some guys. The Pacers definitely got some guys. Derek says no Giannis. Dame got to step up, pick his points over 28.5. I could definitely see that. Ryan says he likes the under. Shadow stepping in says he likes Indy and Milwaukee first half over 114.5. Derek, here we go. Halliburton over 19.5 points, 5 for 5 versus Milwaukee. This season, averaging 27 versus the Bucks, and the Bucks have nobody to check Halliburton. They're probably gonna try to put Patrick Beverley on him, is what I would think. And I think Patrick Beverley hasn't been a part of any of those games that they lost. Tomorrow says Bucks have beat the Clippers, the Suns, and the Magic at home without Giannis. All playoff teams. Playoff nerves will get to the Pacers too. So it looks like tomorrow's leaning towards the Bucks, and this is a good point here. I think I told you guys when I gave out the numbers, the Bucks were 3-1 straight up and against the spread as a home dog, and you got to think they're not going to be a home dog too often. So I think Giannis was not a part of some of those games. I'm willing to fade the Bucks on the road without Giannis, not as much at home, because they're going to play with a sense of pride for sure. And I'm pretty sure they've been prepping for this game as if Giannis isn't going to play. Derek also likes Haliburton over his points and assists at 30.5. So putting them together, says he averaged 38 points and assists versus the Bucks this season, 4 for 5 to the number. Versus Milwaukee, the one miss, he had 29. So he could have easily went over in that game as well. Negro Diamond says, I bet my life savings on Holly over 10.5 assists. Oh, man. Let's see how it goes, man. Hope it ain't your real life savings. I hope that's a joke. Jamie says the Pacers first half money line and the first half spread. He likes the Pacers to come out early. Derek says Bucks have experience, but they struggle with this matchup versus Indy. And that's why it's going to be a really difficult game, man. This is a game where I'm going to happily sit on the sidelines and kind of, see what happens. You don't have to play every game, and this is when I stayed on the sidelines for. Fred says, what up, Fred? He says, what up, Chris? Rocking with the Bucks here. Okay. CML says, Chris, you think Holly going to be dishing? Guards versus Milwaukee is always a treat. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of looking at Haliburton. I think Derek laid it out perfectly. Dame, not Dame, but when you got Dame and Malik Beasley out there, it is typically barbecue chicken. Patrick Beverley is a really good defender, but the Pacers and Rick Carlisle is a very underrated coach, it feels like. I do think that he, gets his guys in position to be successful today. And it's going to be a lot of pick and roll basketball. That's what the Pacers do. They will get the matchups with, some of those favorable matchups. Guys like Bobby Portis, not known to be a defender. Guys like, Brook Lopez, who can't move their feet laterally. Haliburton should have a really big game today. And I feel like both of these teams probably feel like they got something to prove, which is another reason why. Like, who's going to be more motivated? Who you guys think will be more motivated? The Pacers, feeling like they've been slept on all season, and they just quote unquote, it kind of feels like the narrative about them is there's this really young team that a year or two away from really making a push, can't really stop anybody defensively. And then the Bucks are probably like, man, no Giannis, okay, well, we really got to prove ourselves, because now we're the dogs in our own home gym, and for the most of the season they finished with the second best record before the Knicks kind of came in and finished the season with the best record. So motivation-wise, I can see both of these teams being really motivated. James says Pacers won 4 matchups, and that was without Siakam. BJ says no Giannis, no bueno for him. Douglas says, Chris, if you feel the game could go either way, you already know what to do. Halftime, full-time. I don't know who's going to have the lead at the beginning or at the end, no, Douglas. I know that's your bet, but I have no idea who's going to start the game off hot and who's not going to finish that way. Brian says, how about the under, Chris? I didn't really look into too much into the total, but I know it did drop already. I think it's dropped 4 or 5 points already, which is I like to play these totals when they first come out, and I missed that. I missed the total in this one when it first came out. Real quick, let me just look at it real quick and see what the total opened at. So according to Wager Talk Live eye screen, it looks like the total opened at 239. It's down 8 points. No way I'm taking it over here. Not losing 8 points of value. But no Giannis means they're gonna have to play more defense. Offense shouldn't be as efficient. It makes a ton of sense here. Really, really difficult to play Pacers unders, but I do think meaningful basketball, this game does go under. Would have loved to got in at 239, but just didn't know the status of Giannis, which is why I didn't play this game early, because these lines have been out for like a week, it feels like. EQ says I gotta be on the Bucks at home as dogs. On top of that, they've been losing to the Pacers throughout the season, adds a little bit of extra revenge to the spot. And that's a fact, EQ. Do they have the personnel though? Because I agree with you. Elijah says, what about Bobby Portis tonight? I mean, it's no secret Bobby Portis excels without Giannis in the lineup. So if you like Bobby Portis props, no way I could talk you off. I'm not sure how much the line has moved, but him and Dame should have a really, really big game. I would be looking towards some of these Bucks 3-point shooters to go under though, like a Malik Beasley. I don't think that he's necessarily going to have the greatest game. I think Dame should be able to get downhill, shoot some mid-range shots. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Mike Drop says Dame want to play his way out of Milwaukee. I can see that. And let's see. Andrew says he's rolling with the Pacers on the money line. Top Dollar says he got the Pacers +3. Chris, wish me luck. Best of luck, my brother. Like I said, I'm off the game. I hope you guys cash whatever it is that you played. Dame the General says Pacers never played the Bucks with Patrick Beverley and Doc Rivers, and that's a fact, Dame. Like some of those games could be throwaway games, but I'm not sure how much adding Doc Rivers means. Like their record has been worse with Doc Rivers than when they had Adrian Griffin earlier this season. EQ says with no Giannis, you give Lopez more minutes. I like his double-double prop. I could see that. Who they says the under on this game? Maybe you still take the under. I'm not taking it after it dropped 8 points though, but maybe for sure. Jamie says if the Pacers want to Pacers want to be taken seriously, this is the series to prove it. And I agree with this. I definitely agree with that. Brian says Bucks team total under 114.5 here. And Lions Den says must win for the Bucks. Dame double here. Or Dame double. I think he means double. So a lot of different opinions. Joel likes Bucks money line. A lot of people on the Pacers. Tasha likes the under 231. And yeah. Let's keep it pushing. We got 2 more games to get to real quick. No, actually, this is the last game, right? It's the last game because we went through Miami, Boston, we went through Indiana. Yeah, this is the last game. Pelicans and the Oklahoma City Thunder line opened at 8, and it's up. Well, opened at 7.5. It's up to 8, 8.5, depending on where you're shopping. Total is going up. It opened at 214.5. It's up to 216, or in some books, 215.5 does look like it's the consensus right now. So this is the game to me where I didn't want to bet like immediately when the Pelicans won the other day against the Sacramento Kings. I immediately thought to myself that's gonna make this a very, very difficult cap. And the reason why is this: you get a Thunder team that's like excel. Like I don't think people really realize how. Of course, they ended up with the #1 seed. I don't think people realize how good the Thunder were at the crib though. I think Boston finished like 31, 32, and like 3 straight up at home. The Thunder finished 30-5. They were the second best home team throughout the season. 30-5 straight up, 23-12 against the spread. That's 65.7% at home. If you add that they had the rest advantage, they won the game by 12.5 points. So, I mean, that to me, and then you think about the rest advantage. This is a significant rest advantage here. This is 6 days of rest for the Thunder versus 1 day of rest for the Pelicans. So the Thunder been sitting at the crib chilling. Could they be a little, I guess, rusty? I have a hard time believing that, man. I think the Thunder are going to be super motivated in this spot. To me, it kind of feels like the narrative around the Thunder is, this team that, supposed to lose in the first round, depending upon who they were playing against, and nobody's really taking them serious because they're so young, and they don't rebound the ball well. They're missing a big. This is a team that you're really gonna have to punch them because they definitely gonna come out punching you. I think the rest advantage here is the biggest thing that won't allow me to take the Pelicans. So here's the case for the Pelicans though. The Pelicans, we talked about this, and is one of the reasons why I really like Sacramento the other day. They really struggled at home since the All-Star break. They finished 5-10 straight up after the All-Star break at home, but they were balling on the road. The Pelicans actually finished 11-2 on the road after the All-Star break. 11-2 straight up, 8-4-1 against the spread, and 10-3 to the under. Because their defense, I think they were the best defensive rated team after the All-Star break on the road. So really, really difficult for me to feel like I want to take the Thunder here. But I do think it's a Thunder spot. I like the Thunder early in this game. Outside of Boston, we got to remember this was one of the other better first half teams in the NBA. They finished, feels like I already mentioned them feeling like they had a lot to prove, but then you got the Pelicans, who also probably feel like they got a lot to prove with no Zion. But the #1 seed for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and everybody kind of overlooking them. Like I said, they've been excellent at home. Pel's just coming off, a game that they had 2 days ago, a very emotional game as well. And those teams typically run out of gas here. I think that the longer this game goes on, the better it gets for the Thunder. But I also think that they come out and hit early, and I think they hit first in this game. So I'd be looking at Thunder, first half. I think the line is -4.5, and I'd be looking at them full game as well. I would lay the 8 in this spot with the Thunder if I had to play the game. when I think about it from an X's and O's perspective, what if the New Orleans Pelicans really struggled against teams that's been able to shoot the 3-point ball? The Kings weren't able to shoot the 3-point ball in that game before. Remember, the couple games that they played against the Lakers, it was a lot of 3-point shots being made. Pelicans, for whatever reason, they really struggled to defend that 3-point line. OKC can be one of the better 3-point shooting teams, especially from, corner three, above the break three. Like, I just think that the Thunder really going to be motivated in this spot. And I think that the Pelicans having to play 2 play-in games, to get to this spot, only having 1 day of rest, I do think that is a big part of the handicap here. So it'd be Thunder or nothing for me here. I think the Pelicans can, keep this. Like, I don't think they're necessarily going to get swept, but I think it's a Thunder spot just specifically based on, rest advantage. Also, they lost. I think they lost. They finished 2-1 versus the Pelicans this season. The Thunder finished 2-1 against the Pelicans this season. They did lose the game back on November 1st, and that was actually in OKC at the start of the season. But then they went to New Orleans and they won both of the games. In that first game that they lost, though, Zion went off in that game. He had 20, 10, and 8. And of course, he won't be available in this game here today. So if you're the Pelicans, you're gonna need a big game from Jonas Valanciunas. You're gonna need CJ McCollum to give you a lot more than he gave you in that last game. And Trey Murphy, man, UVA, stand up UVA. Trey Murphy has been balling. You're gonna need a big game from Trey Murphy, especially if CJ McCollum continues to, be a non-show. So Thunder first half -4, Thunder full game -8. Definitely shop around, get the best number. This is the last game, so you don't have to rush the bet. I don't think the line's gonna move, but so much. You got all throughout the day to kind of marinate on, your own handicap, my handicap, whoever else you listen to, to kind of take these games. But I do like the Thunder. I think they start early, and I do think that they win the game by margin. I will be looking towards the Thunder in this one here. And there's also that trend that I gave you guys earlier applies for this one as well. Let me just go back to it real quick. It's the same one that applies for the Heat and the Celtics. And that trend was so home favorites in series 1 with at least 5 days more rest than their opponent, 16-6 against the spread, 72.9%. And that, like I said, as the game goes along, you're playing a team that's in these situations, you're playing a team that is coming off a very very emotional game and only had 1 day to prepare. I think Thunder in this spot is the right play. Let's see what you guys are saying here on this one. 77 Figure says that last game is a stay-off game for him as well. Shadow says New Orleans and OKC first quarter over 52.5. So he doesn't like the defense as much in this one to start. And I could kind of see that. I think I would need to look a little deeper if I'm being honest. Derek got a prop for us here. Timeline likes the Pels plus 8.5. Okay, money line. I'm not sure what that okay money line part. Derek likes Chet Holmgren over his 8.5 rebounds here. He says he's averaging 11 versus the Pelicans this year in 33 minutes. And the Pelicans with no Zion to keep Chet off of the glass today. This makes a lot of sense. Maybe even a Chet Holmgren double-double. I could see that as well. Tomorrow says, did you see the post-game interview B.I. had after beating the Kings? He said he remembered OKC eliminated them a couple of years ago and looked straight to the camera. Makes me want to lean Pels. Yeah, I also saw, who was it? Larry Nash Jr. said he was betting on the Pels, but he don't got a sports betting account or app, and he said he's not Jonte Porter. So yeah, I did see that as well. Brian says he likes OKC team total first half over 55.5. I could definitely see that. The Pels have been locking up though. They have been locking up. I just don't like the spot for him as much here. But I agree. He likes the first half minus the 4.5 as well. So some alignment there with Brian. Timeline likes the over 215. Derek says he took Ingram over his 20.5 and SGA over his points as well. Keith says missed the heat cap. I noticed that the play-in teams got off to a hot start offensively yesterday, taking the Heat first quarter spread. I think it's plus 4.5. Best of luck to you on that one, Keith. I kind of lean the opposite way there, thinking that Boston's going to be locked in to start. Tomorrow says Pels first half might be the move here. Ryan says I won't touch this game. And Robert says, Chris, salute chat. Appreciate you for tapping in, Robert. Ryan says, I only like the Bucks Pacers under and the Mavs money line. Robert likes the Celtics. Derek, another prop. He likes Jalen Williams over. This makes a ton of sense here. Over his points, rebounds, and assists at 26.5. Says he had 33, 26, and 29 versus the New Orleans Pelicans this season. Mismatch problem for New Orleans. Probably avoids Herb Jones matchup because SGA gets him. That makes a ton of sense. And his usage rate for his career high is 23.7 this season. I'm thinking is what he meant. Tasha says OKC first half team total under 55.5. So she thinks the opposite way here. Timeline says, put your belt up, Chris. What was your bet here, Timeline? Was it on the over or was it on the Pels plus 8.5? If you want to go, we can go head to head. We can do a little side bet as well. DM me on Twitter. We can put something on it. I didn't play the game yet, but I do like the Thunder in this spot. I do like the Thunder here. But if I played it, it would be full game. If I'm like side betting, I'm playing full game versus the first half. But I do think at 4, it's a pretty good number. Like you just need the Thunder be up 2 possessions. I like that. SK says CJ McCollum off 2 back-to-back bad games. Only shot the ball 8 times last game versus New Orleans. Points at 20.5. And who gets the Lou Dort treatment today? Will it be Brandon Ingram or will it be CJ McCollum? I'm thinking it's probably going to be Brandon Ingram. And that might be the reason why this points prop is up so high, SK. Let's see. Tasha says 76ers versus Knicks was the only game to go over. Rest of them went under. Tell me about it. And I had that under too. What else should I say? Anything else about this one? 77 figures says landed chalk. OKC minus the 8.5 is the top play. And like I said, I like it as well. Paul says, I think this is an OKC blowout. Honestly, I think so too, man. I don't think this game is going to be that close. And it's not a knock to the Pelicans. It's a knock to the spot that the Pelicans are in, coming off that emotional game against the Sacramento Kings the other day, only having 1 day to prep for them. McLean says, OKC my team, but don't know how I can take them. I think you can tonight. What up, Mr. Cash Out? He says, good morning, everyone. Damn Lakers. And I like Boston. First half minus the 8. I like that as well. Douglas says, Chris, is there a way to see teams scoring efficiency in the first minute of the game? Not that I'm aware of, Douglas. Not that I'm aware of. I have no idea there. Jamie says, SGA over his 5.5 assists easily today. With J-Dub and Chet getting some looks off the double team. Okay. Justin says, appreciate the show. Appreciate you for tapping in, Justin. As always, my brother. Enjoy the day. And best of luck, man. Best of luck, Justin, on everything except that. Well, I think you took the +3, so I guess it's a way we could both cash. But top play of the day for me is the Mavs, man. It is the Dallas Mavericks, and I know you on the other side there with the Clippers. Lions Den says Pels looking to steal one, and Frankie says Lou Dort, Jose Alvarado, and Patrick Beverly in a cage match. Who y'all taking in a small man big defense matchup? Lou Dort way bigger than those guys, but it ain't always about size. It ain't about, it's about heart, and all those guys got heart for sure. So I ain't even gonna pick, man. I like all 3 of those guys as defensive players in a league that doesn't feel that defensive anymore. All right, so let's jump into it, man. Like you said, Justin, we can both cash, man. Oh man, I left this up here from yesterday. I need to take that short list off. So, but Dallas on the money line is what I played today. Only play that I've given out so far. I'm gonna make a few more plays, man. I just kind of after having such a rough start to the playoffs, just kind of taking it light, man. I will be on in a few minutes with my guy Kyle Kerms, doing the NBA show. I'll also be on with my guy Jay Money at noon, talking more NBA. So it's a busy day for me. But let's go through them real quick, man. So going back through the Boston game, like I said, I think that's an under type game. Maybe even a Miami Heat team total under. You got the Miami Heat not only limping in without Jimmy Butler, but you also got him off 1 day's rest. This Boston Celtics team is super rested here. But remember, the Boston Celtics shoot a ton of threes. Miami has been the best 3-point defense. So I think that's an under type game. Even a Miami team total under. Don't know how many points the Boston Celtics need to score against the Miami Heat. We absolutely know that Eric Spoelstra is going to have some kind of zone tricks up his sleeve. Will Boston be able to shoot him out of it is going to be the question here. And so I do lean towards Boston first half minus the 8.5 and the under in that game if I had two top plays in that game. Mavs and the Clippers, like I said, I laid the chalk money line with the Mavs as short road favorites. Minus 142 is where I got the Dallas Mavericks on the money line. I just think without Kawhi, which I don't expect him to play because he haven't, played any contact basketball in like the last 2 weeks. Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Luka, Kyrie, super rested spot here. I'll take the Dallas Mavericks, especially with how good their defense has been. Also, strong lean towards the Clippers under their team total. And I'm probably going to get there with the Clippers team total to go under as well. I just think Dallas is going to be super motivated. And without Kawhi, if the Clippers are going to keep the game close, it's going to have to be because of their defense. So Clippers team total under. It's a 110.5 out there on Bet3 on ESPN Bet. Last time I checked right before the show started. But official play Dallas on the money line. Pacers and Bucks. Like I said, I'm going to stay off that game. I'm going to watch it. Don't want to take the under because it's dropped 8 points, but I think I still kind of lean towards the under. Under 231 with no Giannis being out there. Bucks as a home dog typically play better defense. And the Pacers, if they're going to prove themselves, they're going to have to play a little bit of defense as well. But no official play there. And then the Pelicans and the Thunder. OKC first half minus the 4.5. OKC full game minus the 8 would be my top two plays there in that game. I do think that they're going to wash the Pelicans, at least in game one. And we'll see what happens after that, man. Shout out to everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for taking the time out, man. It's like 1,300 people watching on YouTube and Twitter right now combined. Here's the resources that I use to handicap the game. Always share them. And just in case people are like, hey, Chris, where'd you get that information from? These are the resources that I use. And shout out to OddsJam, man. I always talk about them being the best sports betting software on the planet. And I absolutely, wholeheartedly think that that's true. If you guys are interested in any of the resources that they have available, definitely use code CBC so you can get 25% off your first month over there. And that's the show, man. Best luck to you guys on all your action. Like the video if you can. Subscribe if you guys haven't. And share the video as well. Bet responsibly. Best of luck. And like I said, I got a couple more shows that I'm gonna do. If you do want my plays, and they have not been great recently, but I'm always transparent with you guys. The link for my plays is in the description if you guys are interested. So best of luck today, man. I'll catch you guys tomorrow because we got more basketball tomorrow, right? So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. I'm out.